You're listening to the Rodney Ohebsion Show, and I am Rodney Ohebsion. You know me, right? Rodney Ohebsion, you know me. You know me, right? If you say no, you'll offend me. That's the way a lot of celebrities are. They can't conceive of the possibility that someone doesn't know them. If you act like you don't know them, what? What do you mean you don't know me? I'm me. By the way, I'm a celebrity, so... I'm a celebrity. Sure I am. I'm on the internet. I have a show. Anyways, I have a book here. Alternative Realities, the Paranormal, the Mystic, and the Transcendent in Human Experience. Leonard George, PhD. He is the author. Goes into a lot of topics. 450 individual entries. This should be interesting. Yeah. I'll find something interesting, hopefully. Altered state of consciousness. A state of consciousness is a pattern of mental functioning that underlies and determines thought, imagery, feeling, and action. Alright. The ordinary waking state is defined by the worldview taught to us in our earliest years by the representatives of our culture, in most cases our parents. In this state, we tend to have roughly similar experiences to other members of our society. So apparently, our ordinary state of consciousness, our ordinary waking state, is based, I guess primarily, not entirely, this guy's not saying entirely, but based primarily on what we've been taught. It's based on our training, maybe, I suppose you could say that. So we're in that state, and we kind of experience the same things as everyone else in our society. Well, there's some truth to that, some truth to it. So we want to bring about an altered state. I think that's where he's driving, huh? You gotta have more. Let me just offer some commentary here before I go. This is a long entry, by the way. Altered state of consciousness. So, our state of consciousness is shaped by the world that surrounds us. Does it? Like, what do they do? How do they shape it? Do they take like an actual chisel, a hammer, and go ahead and shape it? No. They do that in cartoons, by the way. I brought this up before. Yeah, in cartoons, you actually see things happening. You see a smell traveling from, say, a pot roast to someone's nose. You also see someone's state of consciousness being chiseled with a hammer. Have you seen that one? Looney Tunes? Yosemite Sam? It's a good one. Yosemite Sam and Daffy Duck. You guys should check it out. So the world is shaping our state of consciousness. I didn't know. You guys know this? Well, I guess I knew. Is that okay? Maybe we should consider something else, apparently. Apparently we haven't really considered altering it, looking beyond that state of consciousness. Is that what he's saying? I can make this up too. I'm not a PhD like Leonard George here, but, you know, so what? I just know. Do I just know? I don't know. You see, because society is telling us that it can only, a PhD is qualified to... No, says who? I'm qualified too. I just altered your state of consciousness. You didn't know that. By the end of this episode, I'm going to alter your state of consciousness. You have no choice. I'm going to alter it. Alright? In this state, we tend to have roughly similar experiences to other members of our society. In part, this similarity arises from the fact that we live in the same environment. But in part, it is due to influences of our shared worldview, which guides us in choosing what to notice, what to value, and what to disregard. So our values and our attention. So we start off with that, and then it shapes everything else. Man, it's really making a difference. I'll tell you that right now, apparently, according to this guy. Is that bullshit? I don't know. That kind of ties into a lot of, like, I guess the old nature versus nurture debate. It's part of it. Is it really nurture, as this guy's saying, or is it our nature? Maybe it's both. I don't know. Think about it. Are you guys thinking? Well, you don't have to think. Do whatever you want. I don't care. What to value, what to disregard. Alright. This common experiential world has been called the consensus reality. Yeah, we all agree this is reality, even though it might not be. We can look outside of it. We all agree this is reality. Everyone's telling us it's reality. That's what they're telling us. Who's telling us that? Who started this? Who's the guy? He's at the front of the whole traffic jam. Not necessarily a jam, but we're all following him. He started that. No one started it. It's a collective process. How did it form in the first place? I don't know. Leonard George, what do you think? Should I call him up? Can you call the author up and say I want some additional commentary? Is that allowed? Sure, you paid him a lot of money. How much did we pay him? There's no price on here, but yeah, we paid him some money. I'm going to call up Leonard George and say, you know what? I want to discuss this a little further. I want to know how it all started. Okay. Conditions in which awareness is patterned differently are called altered states of consciousness. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Altered states of consciousness. I'm ready. I want to make a good alteration, though. You know, make sure those pants still fit me. No, not that. Something about I want the right alterations. But hopefully I'm not going to end up with like needles in my ankles. The right alterations. Let's see what happens. The ordinary waking state is not completely stable. We experience almost continuous fluctuations in mood, arousal, and interest. Yeah. The difference between the ordinary condition and an altered state of consciousness, an altered state consists of changes in some basic features of consciousness. Tart, 1969, stated that... You know what Tart stated? Yeah, sure. Tart, 1969. An altered state of consciousness for a given individual is one in which he clearly feels a qualitative, is that how it's pronounced? Qualitative shift in his pattern of mental functioning. That is, he feels not just a quantitative shift, parentheses, more or less alert, more or less visual imagery, sharper or duller, etc., end parentheses, but also that some quality or qualities of his mental processes are different. Mental functions operate that do not operate all ordinarily. Perceptual qualities appear that have no normal counterparts, and so forth. Wow. So we might experience this soon. You guys ready? I'm assuming this is drug-free, but I don't know. There might be some drugs involved. I'm not going to use the drugs. I'll use Chinese herbs, things like that. I'm not going to go past that, though. Certainly no marijuana. There's going to be no marijuana involved in this. Marijuana is bullshit. If there's marijuana in this, I'm definitely calling Leonard George. We're going to have a nice long talk about that. Yeah, I'll take him down to the police station. Let him know. I'll let him know what goes on. I'll have the deputy lecture him a little bit. I don't care if he has a PhD. He needs to hear this. He needs to hear about marijuana. Okay, anyways. That's the end of Tart's selection. The selection from one of Tart's 1969 works. He was very active in 1969, most likely. Tart, you know. Everyone knows Tart. Which Tart? There's some guy named Tart. He was very active. He produced a lot of work in 1969. This is some of it. You just heard some of it. Anyways. Back to Leonard George, PhD. Don't forget he's a PhD. I'm going to keep on mentioning that. For most people, that's part of the society's conditioning. We have to keep on mentioning someone's a PhD to the point where he's referred to as Dr. So-and-so. No? Is that part of it? I should add that here. No, it's not really part of it. It's something. For most people, the most familiar altered state is the dream state. Sure. Between sleep and waking are the hypnagogic and hypnopompic states, which are often barely noticed. What are those? Many are also acquainted with drug-induced states. I'm not, for the record. Am I? No. Am I? No. A host of other states are also possible, each with its own potentials, limitations, definitions of time, space, world, and self. Unusual experiences often occur when we enter altered states, or when aspects of altered functioning intrude into the ordinary waking state. You guys should get this book, by the way. This is pretty interesting. A lot of information. This is informative. Some books aren't informative. They're bullshit. This book is, what is it? 300 some pages. A lot of information there. Other books go 300 pages. They don't tell you shit. They don't tell you anything. Huh? Leonard George? You know what? Leonard George deserves that PhD. He deserves something else. Is there like a black belt PhD? Some next level. He gets the next level. He's more than doctor. He's Dr. Leonard George. How's that? Dr. Leonard George. PhD. Don't forget. Ludwig outlined 10 common features. Who the hell's Ludwig? Ludwig. What's wrong with first names? Oh, that is his first name. No, it's his last name. Why would it be his first name? They don't refer to people by their first name. George, introduced. No, well, George is also last name. Tim. They don't say Tim. They say Lee, or, well, that's also a first name. Robinson. So Ludwig, we don't know which one. You gotta refer to the guy by his first and last name. And put the middle initial in there, too, so we're sure we know what we're talking about. There are a lot of John Smiths. There's a lot of, like, John James Smiths, too. Like, if your name is John James Smith, you gotta add, like, another middle name. John James Henry. There are not a lot of John James Henry Smith. So, yeah, John James Henry Smith. There you go. Yeah, solutions here. Okay, here are the 10 common features of altered state of consciousness. 1, changes in thinking, including extraordinary ideas about cause and effect. 2, disturbed sense of the passage of time. All right. 3, a loss of control over some normally voluntary functions. 4, extreme emotions ranging from extreme fear to bliss. As in the drug users, they experience a lot of that, I suppose. 5. Body image distortions and shifts in the boundary between self and not self. Also, mushroom users maybe? Well, we're not going to use drugs, by the way. 6. Perceptual alterations, including hallucinations, illusions, and synesthesia. 7. Changes in the meaning of things, including feelings of profound insight and revelation. Yeah. A lot of drug users are convinced that's the effect. I don't know. Ask Joe Rogan. That guy. Go on for hours about that horse shit. I think it's horse shit. Well, there might be little truth. There's not too much truth to that. You don't need drugs for that. I'll tell you that right now. I think I'm right. 8. A sense that the experience cannot be described in words or even remembered. 9. Feelings of rejuvenation or rebirth. And 10. Enhanced suggestibility. Suggestibility. You can train people. Alright, this is going to keep on going. This is going to be a long episode, I guess. I think I'm going to finish it, though. I don't care. So what? So it's a 30-minute episode. So, big deal. So sue me. Does it make me look like a psychopath, the fact that I posted a 30-minute episode? Sure. Sure it does. So what? You know, society's telling us. This has to do with what this guy was referring to earlier. Our normal state of consciousness has to do with our trained beliefs, I suppose. The influence of our shared worldview tells us what to value, what to disregard, what to notice. It's sort of like that. You know, they're telling you that if you post a 30-minute episode on the internet, you're crazy. I'm telling you that might not be the case. I'm altering your state of consciousness, sort of. I'm altering your belief system right now. Is it really a state of consciousness? I don't know about that. But maybe it'll result in an altered state. Basically, what I'm saying is don't just accept that. I'm telling you that just because I'm posting a 30-minute long episode on it doesn't mean I'm crazy. Maybe everyone else is crazy. That's a really good theory. I've explored that in depth. I will explore that in depth in the future as well. But everyone else is crazy. I'm not crazy. Or maybe there's no craziness involved here. So I'm putting out 30-minute long episodes that no one's going to listen to. No one's going to make it this far. Maybe one person. 2 people. So 2 people are going to make it this far at some point. So you know what? Even if no one's going to make it, so what? So what? Big deal. Alright. The ordinary pattern of functioning is prevented from breaking down by psychological processes that act to stabilize it. Okay, Tart described 4 consciousness stabilizing processes. Paying attention to familiar sensations and thoughts help us not to notice anything that could distort the ordinary state. So when you're meditating, I suppose you don't pay attention to familiar sensations and thoughts. Yeah, meditation. They're probably going to bring up meditation, that's for sure. Probably some breathing exercises, maybe humming. I'm familiar with a few of these techniques. Speaking in tongues. They're probably not going to bring that one up. I'm bringing it up. Speaking in tongues. Visualization exercises. Repeating a mantra, maybe. Yeah. There's some more. I don't know if he's going to actually bring up any here. He might. I don't know. He might refer you to some other entry in the book. Well, you guys can, even if he doesn't, you guys can do some research on the internet. Many people reward themselves with feelings of comfort or pleasure for remaining within the bounds of conventional experience. We crave security, and the ordinary state of consciousness is where we tend to find it. This is good. I like this. You definitely should buy this. You kidding me? This is just one entry. There are 450 of them. Leonard George, PhD, Alternative Realities. Buy it. Conversely, drifting into altered states may be discouraged by feelings of fear or discomfort. Finally, we may guard our ordinary awareness by preventing potentially disrupting process from exceeding certain limits. For instance, we may take tranquilizer to dampen our excitement, lest the extreme arousal jolt us into the unpleasant altered state called a panic attack. So we do all these little things to remain within that zone, our comfort zone of consciousness. But yeah, you don't have to stay within the confines of that. You can try certain practices or just look at the world differently. Certain things, I brought up some of them, I think might work. Let's see what Mr. Leonard George has to say. I keep on forgetting his name. Leonard George. Moving from the ordinary state into an altered state thus requires that these stabilizing functions be weakened. Okay, how can we do that? Humanity has developed an immense technology of induction methods. Yeah, sure we have. A lot of people have done a lot of things over the years. So we've developed various techniques and the like. A lot of different people, different schools of thought, different parts of the world. Indian mystics, yogis, people into Buddhism, for instance. Various forms of meditation, as I covered. A lot of things. They've done a lot of things. There's 7 billion people on the planet today. Been a lot of people in the past. Depends on who you ask. I think the 100 billion figure is most popular. About 100 billion people. I think it's infinite, though. I'm pretty sure it's infinite. I don't know. Depends on who you ask. Humanity developed an immense technology induction methods. Ludwig described 5 kinds of factors that are widely used to undermine normal awareness. Reducing stimulation, as in sensory deprivation or vision quest. By the way, some of these terms are capitalized, indicating that they are in fact covered elsewhere in the book. They're a separate entry. Like links, like hyperlinks, basically. As in sensory deprivation or vision quests, in isolated places, increasing stimulation, including dancing, drumming, and various forms of rhythmic sensory stimulation, focused attention and hyper-alertness, as in concentrative meditation, lowered alertness, as in the states bordering sleep and some forms of hypnosis, and psychophysical factors such as stress and drugs. You guys listening to this? You want to alter your state of consciousness? Sure. You can come up with some new ideas. Hopefully they'll be good ideas. Just experience something else. It's probably a good idea to just consider some of these things. I sure will. I've tried some of them, sure. Who hasn't? Once the stabilizing forces of ordinary awareness are disrupted, consciousness remains in flux until it is anchored again, either via a return to the normal state or in an altered state. Okay, so you tend to return back to your normal state. Oh, you can anchor it into an altered state too, so does that mean you can stay permanently? Often, this patterning involves the person's expectations and beliefs regarding the nature of the altered state. If the non-consensual reality experience following the ecstatic dance is thought to be the abode of devils, then the person may well feel as if he or she has encountered some. Or, if the dancer expects a divine visitation after the dance, a very different altered state will likely happen. I don't know. So I guess your expectations, your attitude, whatever, they have some sort of an effect on what actually happens to your state of consciousness. Okay, let's continue. We're going to finish this. That's good. Modern Western culture holds that the ordinary state is superior to all others for most purposes. Modern Western culture. That's true. Is it true? Ordinary state. Yeah, just stick to the ordinary state. It's best. Generally speaking, it's best. Ordinary. Stick to the ordinary state. That's what they're telling you. The implication, of course, is that I think he's going to follow up by saying that other cultures have different attitudes. Eastern culture. Definitely Buddhists. Buddhists have a much different attitude, that's for sure. Our society does not formally utilize altered states to acquire knowledge or powers that are not available to normal consciousness. Our society, as in modern Western society, I suppose. This devaluation, although it seems as if a lot of other societies are transitioning towards being more like modern Western societies. China might be doing that. I don't know. Are they doing that? Are they going that far? This devaluation of altered states is not typical among human societies. Yeah. In most cultures, Indians too, as in Native Americans, they're really into all that. They were. I don't know about nowadays. I don't know. You gotta drop by the casino and find out what's going on. No? All Indian casinos should have an actual, like, authentic Native American, like, just serious. He's knowledgeable about entering altered states of consciousness, peace pipe, dream catching, everything. You gotta have that guy. You know, he has to be right in the middle of the casino, like right between the blackjack tables and the slot machines, right there. An actual Native American. Is this offensive? I don't give a shit. So it's offensive. An actual Native American. Do we have to pay him? No, you don't have to pay him. You have to pay for drinks. So you don't have to pay this guy. And he just deals out, Native American ideas and culture and so on. You ask him anything. If you don't ask him anything, he'll just go on and on about it, what he thinks the people ought to know. And he'll also offer some blackjack tips as well. You should hit on this. You should stand on that. Double down. Double down. He's always he knows a lot about Native American culture and blackjack, basically, is what I'm saying. That guy should be in the middle of every casino. The casino doesn't mind. Dealers give blackjack advice too. I don't know too much about blackjack, but dealers tell you what to do sometimes, and they know. They have that whole card memorized. I think they do. They have to. They're professional blackjack dealers. They might not know some very unique situations. If you dealt, 2 aces and you should double, well, that's probably not that unique. It's unique, but it's clear-cut what you should do. Anyways, what am I talking about? I'm trying to make you enter an altered state of consciousness by throwing all this at you, basically. Is there any truth to that? Are you entering an altered state of consciousness right now, just listening to me? Sure. Because I'm insane. You have to listen to insane people every once in a while. That's an altered state of consciousness right there. Just find an insane person. Just go to a mental asylum. Go there for a while. You want to alter your state of consciousness? Believe me. Believe me. You will. But yeah, listening to my channel, it might alter your state of consciousness. Maybe. For the better. Most likely. Hopefully. Otherwise, I should just delete it. No? No. It definitely. It alters your state of consciousness. No, it doesn't alter your state of consciousness, does it? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Good. That's why I should charge you. Money. Yeah, is that modern Western culture? Charging money? Equating it with money? I don't give a shit. I want money. Where was I? In most cultures, altered states are routinely harnessed either by specialists or by others for the benefit of the community. For the benefit of the community? Is that right? Yeah. Tartars argued that the modern habit of judging altered states against the standards of the ordinary state may blind us to the potential value of altered states. This Tart, he has a lot of opinions. He's very opinionated. Well, he said may blind us. Yeah, you gotta broaden our minds sometimes. Sometimes, just think outside of standard orthodox views, beliefs, and so on. Yeah, so. Modern habits. We need to synthesize. We need to bring together aspects of these different cultures. We're kind of doing that. Japan did a good job of that. Although I don't know what they're doing right now. At some point they did a really good job of that. We need to do that too. Japan has Confucianism. They have advanced technology. They have Buddhism, Shinto. They have samurais and karaoke. They have a lot of everything. Everything's in Japan. How come this entry doesn't mention Japan? What the hell is this shit? I should get some money too. Not all of it, because this guy, he put together a really good source of information. Most of it should go to the author. Forgot his name again. Leonard George. I should get 1% of what he gets. Contemporary science has mostly been conducted by individuals in the ordinary waking state. We need to go outside of contemporary science. It's very important, but it's not everything. Don't limit yourself to contemporary science. Are you listening? Contemporary scientists. Are there any contemporary scientists out there? You don't have to be a scientist. A lot of people on the internet, they're not scientists, but they're too focused in on contemporary science. You need to look outside of that. Although a lot of them are also pro-drugs too, so it doesn't really make much sense, I guess. It kind of does, but yeah, you need to look outside. It's not just contemporary science. That's bullshit. You hear that? Contemporary scientists? The result has been a vast accumulation of knowledge about the universe as it is experienced in the ordinary state. Oh, contemporary science only tells you that. Doesn't tell you about the universe in your altered state. Yeah. Einstein, you got that one? Relativity. I'm going beyond relativity. I'm taking that to the next level. Your relativity is basically two-dimensional compared to mine. Although relativity itself isn't two-dimensional. What is it? Is it five-dimensional? I'm taking it to 6. I'll take it to 9. 9-dimensional. Einstein? Where's my Nobel Prize? The Nobel Prize is only given to people who are into that ordinary state, the normal state of consciousness. Is there any truth to that? Well, maybe a little bit. I'm outside of that, so they're not going to give me a Nobel Prize. I'm not what they're looking for. They're looking for something else, which is okay. I look beyond prizes. Prizes don't mean anything to me. Because of my broad mind, my altered states, I'm just not limited to that one state. So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm better than every Nobel Prize winner. I think I am, most likely. Do they even have YouTube channels? Are these guys even putting anything out on the internet? Nobel Prize winners? Crick, the guys behind DNA? Crick? Was it Crick and Watson? Or was it Woodward? Woodward and someone else. Those sons of bitches, they're anti-American. Woodward and Bernstein, they don't know shit. They definitely didn't look outside. Nixon, he entered altered states of consciousness. But for some reason, the rest of the world didn't, so they thought he was guilty of a crime. It's because of their narrow-mindedness, because they didn't want to alter their state of consciousness. Nixon should have used that angle. You guys need to alter your states of consciousness. I didn't do anything wrong. This is bullshit. You're not looking at the Constitution the right way. The Constitution gives me the right to do this shit. Nixon was a hero. He altered his state of consciousness. Everyone was against him. They're into this conventional, orthodox bullshit. I'm pissed off. Nixon. How come this book doesn't mention Nixon? Doesn't mention Nixon at all? I'm going to look in the index at some point. Right now. Better at least some Nixon. If it's not Richard Nixon, it better be another Nixon. Some Nixon here. There's no Nixon. There's plenty of Nirvana. Not plenty of it. There's not that much nirvana. And there's no Nixon. Perhaps these are features of reality that are not detectable by scientists in the normal state. Tart's everywhere in this. Tart has called for the development of state-specific sciences. In order to determine the possibilities available in a particular state, researchers should enter the state to conduct observations and experiments. To date, there has been little response to Tart's idea. Don't forget about Tart. For further reading, Bourguignon, I guess, Ludwig, Tart. See also ecstasy, entity, trance. A lot of other entries we need to get into, but that's pretty good. He didn't really give us an idea of how to alter your state of consciousness, but, you know, you guys can look into that. He doesn't have to do everything. Come on now, just one entry. You're asking too much of this guy. Leonard George, I owe you some money. Is there a picture of him here? No picture of the guy, but... yeah, Leonard George. Is there a biography of him, maybe? About the author? I want to know more about this guy. No, I don't know. I can't find it. Well, that's the end of this. I think I'm going to get into this book in depth. That was just, 1% of it. Not even. Just a page. So there should be a lot of good stuff here. All right.